trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out of place. Was never me that was bringing you down. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Always looking for more. Why we always looking for
Just the same. We ignore the ways and we ignore the fight. We need a miracle. We need a miracle. We need a miracle. We don't care when you call our name. We don't care. We are just the same. We ignore the ways and we ignore the fight. We need a miracle. We need a miracle.
We welcome everyone tonight here under the lights at Arizona Speedway, as it is prepared to be our 32nd race, the 5th season of the Duracell Cup Series, playoff race number 6, elimination race number 2. That means that at the end of tonight, when the checker flag waves, we will have then taken what originally started out as a 10-team playoff. We will then be cutting it down to 6 teams remaining, heading into the final round of the playoffs, which will then, of course, determine our final 4. 81 laps of racing here tonight at this mile-and-a-half racetrack. Very similar in some regards to Kansas Speedway, but it has also, in the past, played a huge part into the outcome of who was moving on and who was not in the championship battle, so no surprise that we've got a lot of hype behind tonight's event here as well. On the pole position for this evening's event is going to be Allie Rain. We saw last week at Lime Rock, Evans Gardner Motorsports get their first victory of the season as a team, with Andrew Lemke putting his car in victory lane in that 12 machine. The other entry out of that stable, the 65, looking to make it back-to-back weeks in which EGM finds victory lane. Alongside of her is going to be Trent Dunham, who the last time that these secondary drivers around the racetrack found victory lane, that was, of course, at the hallowed grounds of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So he's looking for his second win in his second start, and looking for what would be the third time finding victory lane for the one car in the last 4 weeks. There's a lot of drivers, though, through the field that also want to find victory lane. We've so far gone 5 for 5 in non-playoff drivers going to victory lane here during the playoffs. So no team as yet has been able to lock themselves into the next round. Would that be the case here tonight? Will we go 6 for 6, or will we finally see a playoff contender go to victory lane? Let's flash up on your screen here real quickly what your playoff standings look like coming into this event. And you can see that obviously the cut line is the 6th position right now, being held by the 3-time winning team, the 78 car out of Auto Junction Racing, Diego Yepes, doing the driving duties this evening. But right now, it looks like the 09, the 47, maybe even the 77, they're in pretty good shape to move on to the next round. They would need a catastrophic result here this evening to knock them out of the round of 6. But below that cut line, how about Pigeon Racing? Their two entries right now are currently in trouble. They both sit 8 points behind that cut line, and a little bit of an interesting tidbit regarding that 19 car here tonight and who's driving it. His teammates may have taken a couple checkered flags here at this racetrack, so you got to wonder what advice was given pre-race. But that is what it looks like for the scenario coming into this one. We'll keep you guys aware of what the point scenario looks like during the entirety of today's race, but it's time to go down trackside for pre-race ceremonies. The command to fire the engines after the singing of the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Drivers, start your engines!
Pace car will lead the 29 car field off of pit road. They'll make a little less than a mile and a half before taking the green flag here tonight for playoff race number 6. Here's your starting lineup for this evening's event. Allie Rain and Trent Dunham will make it an all Chevrolet front row. Chevrolet's in row 2 with Zach Rogers alongside of William Brock. Then you've got Fords in row 3. That's Daniel Bouchard alongside of Bradley Ream. Row 4, Charles Belding and Sean Arndt. Zachary Fitzwater and Stephen Colon will make up the completion of the top 10. Matt McIntyre, Diego Yepes, they're back in row 6. Bruno Harumi, Tristan Allen make up row 7. Row 8 with Vince Amriego and Andrea Serra. Row 9 is Chris Washer and William Mike Rose. Top 20 completed by Jessica Shelton and Jose Mills. JT Bryant will roll off from 21st alongside of Ryan Brommer in row 11. Row 12 with Danny Wells and Chris Dollerton. Nathan Ormond and Arshay Bishop are back in row 13. Row 14, Dave Campos and Stephen Pollard III. And then bringing up the final spot in 29th will be the 55 of Anthony McCrory. Pace car makes the left-hand turn to pit road. 6 drivers will move on. 6 teams will move on. 2 will be eliminated at the conclusion. And we're underway here at Arizona Speedway. Allie Rain looks like she's going to lead the first lap of this event. Zach Rogers will slot into second place, leaving them to battle for third. Daniel Bouchard, Trent Dunham. Bouchard going to take the third spot. It looks like, at least for the moment, that outside groove not rubbered in. Top line falling back as Belding will move into fourth. Fitzwater will look to complete the top 5 and battle for the lead. Rogers and Allie Rain. Zach Rogers looking for His second win on the season. Boy, imagine if that had been the finish. That was close, but Ali Rain, with help from Bouchard on the top side down the front straight, was able to lead that lap. Rogers, former winner back at the road course of Pukaka, and here comes Belding to the inside in the 19 car. The 19 is not in a must-win situation, but they really do need a good performance here this evening if they're going to jump above the cut line and move on. You know, I can't remember the last time. It's been quite a few weeks where we've had former winner in the field. We've had a slew of weeks where we've had former winners that are in the series, but not necessarily in that particular race. Tonight, that is not the case, as we've got two former winners of this event in the field. Jose Mills in the 38 won this event back in Season 2. William Brock, who we saw roll off from the outside of Row 2 in the 48 car, he took this event back in Season 3. The other two winners of this event, Matthew Rodriguez, Season 1, Carson Gum, the defending champion last season, are teammates to that 19 car of Charles Belding. So, like I said, you've got to wonder what kind of advice was given to Belding on how to approach this race here tonight and maybe get Belding to victory lane for the first time this season. Danny Wells, who started 23rd, is already up to the 4th position. Shelton, just in front of him, started this race from 19th, and she's up to 3rd. So those are two very fast Chevrolets that have only taken about 5 laps to make their way from outside of the top 15 to inside of the top 5. Bruna Harumi to the inside of Daniel Bouchard to take the top position. I said this last week, and I'll stand by it. You just feel like that 21 car is moments away from finding victory lane. There's been strong performances out of Alison Rodrigo. Pedro Lucas had a great run last week up inside of the top 10 at Lime Rock, and Harumi as well has put together some very solid outings. Maybe tonight is the night that they finally break through. There's Dave Campos in the 4th position, I just noticed as well. He started deep in the field, 27th. The 8 car right now comes into this race 5 points above the cut line. So looking to grow that advantage. 8 car only has 1 victory this season. That was all the way back in the Daytona 500. I'm trying to recall if we've ever had a Daytona 500 winning driver advance into the Final Four. I have to go back do my homework on that one, but I, off the top of my head, do not recall that being a situation. Trey Wright, Cole Baker. Yeah, I might be wrong, but I don't think a Daytona 500 winner has ever moved on to the Final Four. Maybe this season will be the exception. Pretty good representation of all 4 manufacturers up inside the top 5. You got a Ford in the lead, a Chevy in 2nd, a Toyota in 3rd, and Washer's Ford, or Dodge I should say, just moved up into the 4th position, getting around Jessica Shelton. Campos will move by Danny Wells for 2nd place. So there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking that will take place during the course of this race in regards to the point standings. And we're going to be mostly, I think, keeping our focus on that 78 car of Diego Yepes, 2-time winner this season, because he is the cut line driver. Let's see if we can find where he is currently at. Our scoring says he's back in 25th, so let's actually cycle towards the back of the pack here. He's on the inside, making some forward progress there, now up to 23rd last time by. Belding has actually fallen back here, outside of the top 20, as has Trent Dunham, who started on the outside of the front row. We got a couple of drivers that seem to be straggling back here. RJ Bishop and William Brock. Brock, let's see if we can get a moment here to take a look at the right side. Did he get the wall potentially? Oh yeah, definitely got the wall in that Cinevis banking Chevrolet. And so he's hoping for a caution for them to be able to kind of buffer that out, keep him up to speed. He could go a lap down here very quickly. if this thing stays under green flag conditions, former winner here in William Brock. Talked about the 0-9. Right now, leading your playoff standing, Stephen Pollard III. The driving duties here tonight. Former winner in his own right at the regular season finale at Auto Club. As he's losing spots now, trapped on that top side. Bouchard gets around him. Bouchard's teammate William Micros looking to do the same. Moving forward, Jose Mills in the 38 is, whoa, were we almost 3 wide there? Washer made the move on Wells, and then Dave Campos thought about taking him 3 wide into turn 1. I don't think he had enough room there. Washer only left him about maybe half of the amount of space that he needed. Big block there by the 44 as Washer moves to the point. Midsal Muriego now up inside the top 5, but Jose Mills now up to 6th and looking to break into the top 5. Another late move there into turn 1 by Dave Campos for the race lead, this time on Washer, and Washer gave him the needed space to complete the pass. Now, even leading a lap here, we talked about it back at Indianapolis, the first elimination race, even leading a lap, getting that bonus point could be very important for playoff contenders, especially down around the cut line area. And Campos will get a lap led. I believe he is the first playoff driver to lead a lap. No, correction. Charles Belding led a lap earlier as well. Here comes Dollarton, the 32. This is for second place. Chris Dollarton, of course, the inaugural champion back in Season 1. It's been a bit of a winless streak for him. Still looking for his first victory here of Season 5. And I noticed his teammate not too far back there, Ryan Brommer in the 31. A bit of a struggling round of 8 for that 31 team out of Pigeon Racing. James Shelley and Dylan Poteet both running into some issues in their respective events at Hillside and last week at Lime Rock. And Ryan Brommer is left to try and gain 9 points on the 78 car. Well, right now he is up into the 7th position, jumping up to the top side now and opening the door for Stephen Pollard III to take advantage. Last time we checked on the 78, he was in 23rd, and Yepes has picked up a couple more spots since that point. He's now up to 18th. Diego Yepes just needs to finish ahead of the 19 and the 31, and he will advance. Right now, he is ahead of the 19 car, which is backmired in the 23rd position. 31 car is just up ahead. There's Stephen Colon, former winner this season. That 47 team looking to advance. Now, you look at some of these drivers that I talked about when we looked at the playoff points that the teams look like they're in pretty good shape to move on to the next round, like the 09, the 47, and the 77. They might be coming into this race in a must-win situation just based on the fact they would love to be able to carry the 5 bonus points for winning here tonight into the next round. Next round, the final round, the round of 6, is the last opportunity to carry bonus points from a previous round. Once we get to the season finale at Homestead Miami Speedway, it comes down to who finishes the highest. Bonus points for laps led, bonus points for most laps led, bonus points for winning in the previous round. None of that carries over. So if it comes down to you moving on to the Final Four or not, if it comes down to 5 points, imagine what a luxury the 5 points for winning tonight's event as a playoff contender could feel like. Right now, we only have 2, of our playoff teams up inside the top 10. Campos leading this race, and you're looking at the second one, Stephen Pollard III, right now being scored in the 5th position, trying to reel in Bruno Harumi. We've also got teams, though, that are just trying to finish out the season with either a trip to victory lane or another trip to victory lane. There's William Micros. A couple of weeks ago at Hillside, we saw Andrew Davis, his teammate, go to victory lane. Micros, a former winner at Manassas. Got both the KB Racing Enterprises cars up here inside of the podium with Bouchard just up ahead. 39 car has yet to go to victory lane this season. A big run here down the front straightaway, might be able to make a move going into turn 1. Might have heard that engine up ahead. I believe that was the 48 of William Brock, who is off the pace with the damage that we saw on the right side. So they will, more than likely, our race leaders, catch him within the next lap or so. And will he be getting out of their way, or will he be holding them up, bringing more drivers into the conversation to take this race lead? We don't know what the fuel window is for these guys exactly. Most races that we've run here in the past, we've run 67 laps. We've added 14 on this season. So whatever drivers had for fuel numbers in the past, they don't really mean much here because they've had to account for the additional laps that were put on to the distance. As Brock is going to move up to the top side, realizing he's off the pace, and he's going to let these drivers on by. Although, kind of pinned down there on exit, Daniel Bouchard might have gotten a little tight there off of turn 4, and Campos pulled away. Micros pulled to the back bumper, and now the teammates will battle for P2. RJ Bishop in the 2 just crossed the start-finish line. He's about half a lap down. I don't know, maybe he might have been involved in the contact that sent William Brock into the wall and gave him that damage. You guys have already seen it, courtesy of the NSCRA split cam. But I don't know. He's obviously hoping for a caution, though. His car obviously seems a lot more up to speed. May have just lost momentum from the wreck. As Shelton just got around Stephen Power III, those teammates duking it out of S3 Motorsports for 6th position. And our pole sitter, Allie Rain, we saw her out in front, led the first lap, led a couple of laps actually at the beginning of this race. Believe she led 2 laps. But then she kind of faded back while she's making her way back up to the front once again, broke back into the top 10. Currently in 9th as Bruna Harumi sent up out of the groove, and it's going to get taken 3 wide by Pollard and Shelton. I believe it was Danny Wells that moved the 21 up and out of the way. And now things pretty well wadded up back here in the latter portion of the top 10. Harumi going to drop back from this group. Shelton had to shoot up the middle, trying to clear Chris Dollerton going into turn 1, but Dollerton, well, he tried to get the left rear quarter panel. Had to bail out of the throttle on entry, as did Allie Rain. Allie Rain lost a ton of momentum going into that corner. I don't know if she is starting to feel that right front tire heating up, causing the tight entry, or if she had to back off for Dollerton, who looked to be tippy-toeing into the first corner as well. As now Shelton steps out of line on Pollard, and Dollerton will be there to offer drafting help. Bouchard back to the inside of his teammate. A lot of teammates battling right now. The KB Racing Enterprises Fords and the S3 Motorsports Chevrolets, but all this is going on behind Dave Campos, who might be able to lock up the bonus point for most laps led. Campos, a rookie, along with Pierce Crone. They've got the veteran experience on the team of Daytona 500 winning driver Matt Haas, a former playoff contender in previous seasons. See a lot of drivers out here with the rookie stripes, but we have to remember that a lot of them are developmental drivers established with a seasoned veteran. Danny Wells now on the inside of William Micros. We got some news a few days ago about Benjamin Miles, Danny Wells' teammate here at Legend Racing. Next season, he'll be heading back to a team that he started out with, Northeast Motorsports. As Wells and Shelton cross each other over. This is the battle right now for 3rd. And pit stops begin on lap 31, which means that looks like we could be looking at a 2-stop race. Interesting. Yepes, Belding, and Brommer all elect to stay out an extra lap. Maybe plan to come down a less congested pit road. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th in your current playoff standings. that elected to stay out an extra lap. Shelton from the lead now will come down pit road. Tristan Allen, Stephen Colon, Ryan Brommer, Jose Mills and company will follow her in. Right now, the 31, about 3-4 positions ahead of the 78. The 19 is currently behind the 78. This pit stop could be crucial. Let's follow with the 78 car, see if they make no mistakes. There's Belding just up ahead. Trent Dunham, last time out's winner. Good stop there for Ryan Brommer. He's going to pick up a couple of positions, it looks like. He's going to get out ahead of the 11 and the 47, who he was behind. Belding's going to lose a bit of time to the 78, but the 31, very good pit stop. And is this your battle for the race lead, maybe? Nope. Dave Campos looks like he's going to be cycling back out to the front. Danny Wells to second, Pollard to third, Bouchard fourth. Looks like Shelton is going to get up to speed in the 5th position, but things have gotten quite spread out here at the front of the field now. Draft will come into play, potentially, for drivers to be able to start reeling others in for position. And it may bring our fuel number down a little bit lower, too. We just saw most drivers come to pit road between laps 31 to 32. If things stay spread out the way they are, then that might bring the fuel number down to maybe 28, 29 laps that they'd be able to make it. But I do believe, regardless of when they come to pit road next, it will probably be their final pit stop of the night. Wait till everyone crosses the start-finish line to give you the full field rundown of who is where after the cycle is complete. Should have that for you when they cross the stripe this next time by. William Brock going a second lap down the 48. Also apparently under caution, or not under caution, under that pit stop cycle. RJ Bishop in the 2 car lost a lap. So 2 drivers off the lead lap. All 29 still running. So Campos, the race leader. Stephen Pollard III is second. Danny Wells third. Danny Bouchard fourth. William Micros is in fifth. Jessica Shelton sixth. Bradley Ream is now up inside the top 10 in 7th. 8th, Ryan Brommer. 9th place, Stephen Colon and Tristan Allen. Currently completes your top 10. Allie Rain is in 11th. Chris Dollerton 12th. Andrea Serra 13th. 14th. Chris Washer. Vince Almriego was 15th. 16th, Bruno Harumi. Jose Mills back in 18th. 19th, JT Bryant and Zach Rogers complete the top 20. Anthony McCurry 21st. 22nd, Zachary Fitzwater. 23rd position, Diego Yepes. We'll document that in just a moment. 24th right now, Matt McIntyre. Sean Arndt 25th. Charles Belding in 26th. Trent Dunham 27th. And right now he is being scored the last car on the lead lap. RJ Bishop 1 lap down in 28th, and 29th place is William Brock. He is 2 laps down to the race leader. As I mentioned about the draft, Danny Wells, Stephen Pollard III stayed lined up, tanned together, and they are now up here with Dave Campos looking for the race lead. Battle right now for the final playoff position might be going on between the 31 and the 78. Ryan Brommer right now in the 9th position, up inside of the top 10. But Diego Yepes, last time by, was scored back in the 23rd position. There he is, now trying to make his way by Zach Rogers. He just got around Zachary Fitzwater as well, so this would move him up to 21st. Driver that I'd be a little bit worried about at this point in time would be Charles Belding, back in 25th, and losing touch with this group that contains the 78. I think he is going to need a caution. So as things stand right now, it looks like the 78 and the 19 would be the teams that do not move on, and that's really interesting when you think about it, in the case that the 19 car with Carson Gum was the only former champion that advanced into the playoffs. Ryan Acosta, Chris Dollerton, and Jordan Lopez all missed out with their respective teams. So if the 19 does not advance, that means that with our round of 6 moving on, we are guaranteed a new Duracell Cup Series champion. And in the case of the 78, they had maybe one of the best regular seasons we've seen in a long time here in Duracell Cup Series competition. 3 victories, 2 with Diego Yepes, 1 with Ryan Butcher. They won the overall regular season point standings. They had so many bonus points coming into the postseason, and then the wheels just kind of fell off the train. They almost got eliminated into the moving on from the round of 8. They were, I think, less than 10 points away from the cut line after having, what was it? I think it was 30? Yeah, 30 bonus points going into the first round. And here tonight, they find themselves as the cut line team. I mean, it's incredible. Those 2 teams in particular look like they may not, unless something drastically happens, and there's still a little less than half this race left to go, so it's still possible, but it's amazing when you think about that. Those 2 teams that you probably at the beginning of the playoffs would have said they're going to be up in the Final Four, that they are right now facing elimination. Well, after Danny Wells and Stephen Pollard III worked together to catch Dave Campos, they're starting to check out. Campos has fallen back to 3rd. He's got Daniel Bouchard right behind him, so you've kind of got the battle of 2-car tandems going on right now, 1st and 2nd versus 3rd and 4th. William Micros trying to see if he can latch on to that group up ahead of him. As Bradley Ream moves to the inside of Jessica Shelton. That's going to be for 6th. Bradley Ream looking for his 2nd win on the season. Of course, taking the checkers back at ISM or Phoenix, what have you. RJ Bishop now to the inside of Shelton, but bear in mind that 2-car is not on the lead lap. He is the only car 1 lap down in the 28th position. Right now, Ryan Brommer, he was scored last time in 11th. Seems like he's pretty content to run where he's at right now. Now going to make a pass on Stephen Colon. Just ahead, the 99 of Andrea Serra having a great night in that 9th position. Ryan Brommer, what he's doing right now is managing the gap. His team keeping him aware of where the 78 car is currently running. Remember, he has to be 9 positions ahead of the 78 in order to jump the cut line and put the 78 in an elimination position. Right now, Brommer is in 10th. Last time by, Diego Yepes was scored 21st. So that is 3 points right now that Ryan Brommer has over the 78 car. Let's follow up on the 19 of Charles Belding. See if he's been able to make any progress. He's still running in 24th, trying to catch up there to his teammate Zach Rogers. He does have a chance maybe of getting up here into the vicinity of the 78. Honestly, I think if the 19 is going to be able to advance, they're going to have to rely on the upcoming final pit stop to take advantage. But remember, too, the 78, 31, and the 19 all came down pit road on the same lap, so they may come down pit road on the same lap once again. Yepes needs to pick up 2 more positions now, I believe, to take back the final spot in the round of 6. He's got the lap car of William Brock. Then he's got Bruno Harumi for 19th, Tristan Allen for 18th. I don't know if he's going to catch that group or not. He's got Zachary Fitzwater helping him, though. They're kind of 2-car tandeming, so maybe Fitzwater could be the savior for the 78. Haven't talked much about Matt McIntyre here tonight. There he is, 16th place right now in that Joanna Atwood Motorsports Ford Mustang. Allie Rain running behind former Arizona winner Jose Mills. They're in 13th and 14th, I believe. No correction, make that 14th and 15th. Nathan Ormond 17 car right now up to 12th, just past Stephen Colon last lap. JT Bryant, 77 team, 09 team, looking really good right now to advance into the round of 6. JT holding down the 11th spot right at the moment. That team was, I believe, 33 points ahead of the cut line coming into this one. No, correction, 25 points ahead of the cut line. Was looking at the wrong driver. Still a pretty sizable gap, so right now they're looking in good shape to advance to the next round of playoffs. And Bradley Ream, I just noticed, is to the race lead. Last time by, he was up to second, and he just got around Danny Wells to go to the point. Well, the 74 team, yeah, they've got the victory with Ream back at ISM, but they are the lowest in the point standings of teams that started the season in the Daytona 500, 28th in overall points. We saw last week a team that was struggling down in the cellar of the point standings go to victory lane with Lemke, the 12 car out of Evans Gardner Motorsports. That team's 27th in the point standings, so maybe as we get closer to the end of the season, those teams that are way down there in points that know they're not going to have a chance of even finishing up inside of the top 20 maybe in the overall point standings, they're just out here trophy hunting, putting it all on the line in terms of strategy, in terms of aggression. Try and end out the season on as positive a note as they possibly can. Stephen Power III getting back by Danny Wells for second place. I think this 09 team might be the team to watch heading into the round of 6. They are looking like they are easily going to advance. There's been great performances here this round out of Kyle Matthews and Caleb Vogler. Team was strong as well back in the first round. I believe they were, if I recall correctly, the second highest in the playoff point standings in round 1, second only to the 77 team. So if you're starting now to maybe reformulate the drivers and teams that you're expecting to see in the Final Four once we get to Homestead, one would certainly have to think that the 09 and the 77 teams would have to be put in there. Got to credit Dave Campos here tonight. He has led the most laps this evening. Right now, it is looking like he will stay at the top of the laps led leaderboard. 22 laps in total. Next highest is Danny Wells in 12th, but nobody right now seems to be able to hold on to the race lead for more than 5 laps. This team was in a critical position, only 5 measly points ahead of the cut line, and he has done a tremendous job here tonight. Been out in front for a good portion of this race, has kept his car up inside of the top 5, top 10 the entire evening. So is the 8 car. A car that you would put in your Final Four potentially in the next 4 weeks' time. You know, it's interesting when I look here too, we've got a Toyota running in the 5th position, and the only manufacturers that have gone to victory lane here at Arizona in the past are Chevrolet and Ford. 3 Chevrolet wins with Rodriguez, Brock, and Gum, and 1 Ford victory with Jose Mills. So Toyota looking to break into victory lane for the first time in their history here at this racetrack. JT Bryant right now the second highest running Toyota in the 7th spot. Chris Dalton right there behind him. Let's update on the battle for the final playoff position. Ryan Brommer continues to run in 11th. Diego Yepes has worked his way up to 20th, which means 2-point advantage right now to Ryan Brommer. And Belding has caught up to the 78. It's going to come down to this pit stop. There's no doubt about it. Now, I am also noticing that the 95 is back here of Sean Arndt. That team was only 7 points ahead of the cut line coming into this race. Now, they are at least within the vicinity of the 78. They are within the vicinity of the 19. So, right now, it looks like the 95 team, where they're currently running, even though they're back outside the top 20, that they are still, at this point in time, in a position to move on into the round of 6. Sean Arndt, of course, a 2-time winner this season as well, and the last couple of starts he's made, he has been in the vicinity of incidents that were not of his own making. He was involved in a wreck not of his own making back in the regular season finale at Auto Club, and was involved in an incident that was not of his own making back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, not a good bit of momentum going on for him, as you just saw that pass there by Belding. Sean Arndt and Zach Rogers all going to get around Diego Yepes. Now, Belding's going to have to gain a few more spots than that. Not only that, but he's going to have to get up there in the vicinity of his teammate in the 31, because it looks like Matt Haas, who would have been the next highest driver to try and eliminate out of the playoffs, he's done enough here today, if he holds the position he's in, to be able to advance. And actually, Campos has come to pit road this time, along with your race leader, Bradley Ream. Only 2 cars on pit road. Here comes a third. Is that NNSCRA? No. That's Bruno Harumi and the 21 car. Boy, McCrory, Dunham, they're way back. It looked like either of those teams is going to get the performances they were looking for here today. Of course, the 55 team got eliminated back in the first round of the playoffs. The 1 team had back-to-back victories with Cody and Trent at Road America in Indianapolis. A lot of drivers down pit road this time, including the 09 of Stephen Pollard III, playoff contender. Belding stayed out an extra lap again here. I think the 78 was on pit road that time. Dollerton's going to get a lap led in the 32 car. JT Bryan staying out with him. Both of them are going to dive onto pit road this time. Ormond is in. Stephen Colon. He'll stay out an extra lap in the 47. Now remember, the 47 car was one of the 3 teams I talked about that looked like they were in good shape to advance into the next round based off of the last 2 races. They were 28 points rather, ahead of the cut line, so maybe trying to pull off a little strategy here as Steven looks for his 2nd win of his career. Looking for the 3rd victory. Oh no, actually it'd just be the 2nd victory of the season for the 47 car as well. For some reason I thought Turner had a victory this season. Chris Washer stayed out an extra lap also. Oh, and so did Diego Yepes. I thought Yepes was in with the first group, but no. Yepes stayed out an extra lap. Maybe he was going to try and see if he could snag a bonus point for a lap led, but was not able to do so. Now we'll see how that's going to translate with the gap between himself, the 31, and the 19. So who cycles out to the lead? This might be the battle right now. Dave Campos, Bradley Ream. We saw them come to pit road on the same lap together. They obviously left together, and Campos going to make the pass for what right now is the 4th position, but eventually I think might be the race lead. Yeah, I think they've already bypassed Stephen Colon, Chris Washer, and Diego Yepes, so next time by, either the 8 or the 74 will be shown in P1 if the 74 makes a move here through 3 and 4, which he will not do. So Campos back out in front. He'll continue to add laps to his total. Right there will be his 23rd lap led. 12 laps led so far here tonight by Danny Wells. 10 laps led by Bradley Ream. 4 laps led by Stephen Pollard III. 5 by Bruno Harumi. 2 laps apiece for drivers Stephen Colon, Daniel Bouchard, Jessica Shelton, and Allie Rain. And then William Micros, Chris Washer, Chris Dollerton, and Charles Belding have taken a turn out in front for a lap. Crossing the line, let's see where the playoff drivers around that cut line, where they are scored. Ryan Brommer, it's like he is cycled back out into where he was prior to the pit stops in 11th place. Charles Belding last time by was scored in 21st, and Diego Yepes was scored back in the 25th position. Sean Arndt is also back in 23rd. So it looks like the 19 team is still in danger of not advancing. And it looks like the 31 team may have displaced the 78 team into moving on to the next round of the playoffs. There'll be 12 laps to go this next time by for the 74 of Bradley Ream. Dave Campos, Danny Wells going to battle it out for second. William Micros in fourth looking on. And look who is up to fifth. What a drive here today by Nathan Ormond. And we saw in the early going, drivers like Dave Campos and Stephen Pollard III work their way up to the front very quickly from the back of the field. Nathan Ormond's been exactly the opposite. He has worked his way from the back to the front after starting 25th, but he has done it slowly, quietly, and methodically. And sometimes it's the quiet ones you have to worry about. He's got a fellow Ford behind him and Daniel Bouchard trying to get him up there potentially to that top four. So we'll see if Ormond's got something here in these final 10 laps to maybe see if he can get that 17 team out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports their first victory on the season. Strange bedfellows up here at the front, though. You've got a Ford, a Toyota, and a Chevrolet having to kind of work with each other to be able to propel one to the front. They will have the slower machine of Trent Dunham up ahead, former winner this season, former winner last time out at Indy, who right now is the last car on the lead lap in the 27th position. I don't think there'll be enough laps for them to catch the next machine of Anthony McCrory, but this has not been a good evening for Trent Dunham, where you look on the flip side of drivers that started towards the back, worked their way to the front. Trent started this race from the outside of the front row. Then he fell to the back, and we never really heard of him since. So obviously they did not bring a very good race car here tonight, did the Michael Norman Motorsports stables, as Trent has pretty much been struggling ever since the drop of the green flag. Dave Campos back to the point. Bradley Ream into second. Third place battle between Danny Wells and William Micros. Wells on the top line there off of 4 will hang on to the position. Looking back there, there's out side by side for 5th place between Ormond and Bouchard. I thought that if they stayed nose to tail, they might be able to catch up there to Wells and Micros, who were stalling each other out with their side-by-side battle. The side draft obviously does not propel one driver over the other and instead drags the car back that you're trying to pass. And again, I remember I mentioned this, and I'll just reiterate it here. If the 8 car goes to victory lane here tonight, they carry 5 bonus points into the reformatted round of 6 next week. The race win bonus points carry over. And we've so far not had a playoff contending team go to victory lane here in the postseason. So maybe, just maybe, Campos could be the first. Bradley Ream tried to make a move there on the 8. I don't know if he got tight or what, but he had to back out of it. And I'm wondering about this one car of Trent Dunham. How is he going to play a part into this? May not play a part at all as Dave Campos looked to the inside of him going into turn 1, but he didn't have the momentum. He didn't have the positioning. Had to check up there through 1 and 2, and Bradley Ream had a good run off the second corner. Does he make a move here down the backstretch going into turn 3? No, he does not. A little surprised he didn't. He definitely had the momentum, but it looked like he backed off. Now he's got another nice run here out of turn 4. Will he look to the inside going into turn 1? Oh, now the 8 got a better run that time down the front straightaway, and he will take it to the inside of Trent Dunham. I believe the 48 of William Brock is up ahead, 2 laps down, so the leaders are not done with lap traffic. Bradley Ream, they couldn't stay to the left rear quarter panel of the 8 car. He'll wind up that rubber band and try again, but he is running out of laps, this time by 4 to go here at Arizona. William Brock, they're going to catch him here going into turn 1. Campos couldn't get to the inside, and Brock's not given a whole heck of a lot of room here through 1 and 2. Who steps out? We might be looking 3 wide here for the top position. Bradley Ream not able to get to the inside of Dave Campos. And look at Danny Wells now because of this. He, along with Trent Dunham, have hooked up. And Trent, who I believe is up to speed, a fellow Chevrolet with Danny Wells, could be the X factor here. Could help the 15 maybe find victory lane. That would be for the second time this season. Tim Walsh put the 15 car in victory lane back at, I believe it was Atlanta, one of those mile-and-a-half tracks. Trent tried to get to the inside of Bradley Ream, trying to maybe create a path for Danny Wells, but Danny way wide there through 3 and 4, may now lose touch with the top position as this time by 2 laps to go. Bradley Ream hoping that Trent Dunham will help push him up there to the 8. Hopefully that he will catch him in a right spot, have the momentum to be able to make a move. He'll get the draft here down the back straightaway. If he can time it right, he might be able to make a move going into turn 1. White flag will be displayed this time by for Dave Campos, but Bradley Ream with a push from the lap machine of Trent Dunham may have the momentum on his side. But does he have time on his side is the question. 8 cars started out the season in victory lane in the Daytona 500 with Matt Haas. Rookie Dave Campos looking to advance them into the round of 6 of the playoffs. Bradley Ream is not going to be close enough. Dave Campos leads the most laps here tonight. What a performance for this rookie. It's going to pay dividends to move them on in the playoffs. His first career win is here tonight at Arizona Speedway. You know, you come this late into the season, into the playoffs, and you don't expect to see a lot of firsts, but we did have a lot of firsts here tonight. It's the first career win for Dave Campos as a driver in the Duracell Cup Series. It is the first time this entire postseason that a playoff contending team has taken a checkered flag in the playoffs. And it's the first time that a Toyota Camry will be in victory lane here at Arizona Speedway in Duracell Cup Series competition. Campos led a race-high 33 laps here this evening, and the 8 car is going to be the only team going into the round of 6 that is going to have 5 bonus points to be able to fall back on, and that could be very important when we get to the final elimination race of the season. Speaking of elimination race, let's take a look at our finishing results from this one, because I have a feeling that it may be very close for that final transfer position. Ryan Brommer, he lost some spots there in the closing stages of this race. He was around the 11th spot when we last checked in on him. He fell back to 16th. And Diego Yepes, he finished in 22nd. The gap between those two is a total of 6 positions. That equals out to 6 points. And since there was 8 points difference of the 78 over the 31, the 78, amazingly enough, is just barely going to hang on to the final spot to advance into the round of 6. We'll be joined by the 8, the 09, the 47, the 77, and the 95 teams, which means that both entries out of Pigeon Racing, the 19 team, which includes defending champion Carson Gum, and the 31 team, they will be eliminated. They will not be moving on to the next step of this playoff battle. My goodness. Came down there to the nitty-gritty in the closing stages of this one between the 31 and the 78, but the 78 survives yet again. This is the second elimination race where they've been on the cusp of maybe being eliminated, and they've just barely been able to hang on. Let's take a look at the finishing results. A lot of good stories up here of drivers and teams that really have needed some good runs. You got Bradley Ream with a solid outing there in second place. Danny Wells up in the hunt there for the win in the closing stages in third. William Micro, solid outing there in fourth. And Nathan Ormond, great run for that 17 car, completing the top 5. Both of the KB Racing Enterprises cars finished up inside of the top 10 with 6th place Daniel Bouchard. Andrea Serra, I don't think we talked a whole lot about that 99 car here tonight. Great run for her out of the Shadow Cult Racing team as she brings home P7. The S3 Motorsports car is strong this evening as well. Stephen Pollard III and Jessica Shelton both took turns at the front and bring it home in 8th and 9th. So the 09 team solidly locks themselves into the next round of the playoffs. And Chris Dollerton is going to complete the top 10. Jose Mills, former winner here, will bring it home 11th. Stephen Colon, 12th place, enough for the 47 to advance into the round of 6. Chris Washer, Bruno Harumi, and Matt McIntyre completed the top 15. 17th was enough for the 77 team to advance. 21st should be enough for the 95 team to advance. And as we mentioned already, the 78 team finishing only 6 positions behind the 31 and ahead of the 19. They have now barely done enough to be able to advance into the round of 6 as well. Drivers who did not have good evenings right out of the gate: Trent Dunham, RJ Bishop finishing a lap down, and William Brock finishing 3 laps down after he had that right side damage from what we assume was getting into the wall in the opening stages. Another former winner that struggled here tonight at Arizona. But let's now take a look at the reformatted playoff point standings, and here they are. The 5 bonus points, well, actually, where you're looking right now at is what the results of tonight's race were. You're not looking at the reformatted points. You'll see those actually next week, but I can tell you that it will be a 5-point advantage for the 8 team. But I mean, look how close it was there between the 78 and the 31. The 19 team there, Arizona native Charles Belding, struggling here this evening at his home track. Kind of thought that maybe here tonight the home crowd would help him with the motivation, but just not able to, and they were nowhere close of being able to advance into the round of 6. So tough night here for Pigeon Racing overall, as both their playoff contending teams will not be moving on to the next round of the playoffs, and that means that now with Carson Gumb's team exiting out of the playoff picture, we're guaranteed that we will now have a new champion, or I should say 3 new champions, by season's end here in Duracell Cup Series competition. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's race here from Arizona Speedway. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to Part of the Crew. Today, we showed you full feature results. These are what your playoff standings looked like after conclusion of this race. We'll show you the reformatted points next week, as next week we will be beginning the round of 6. The 09, the 47, the 8, the 77, the 95, and the 78 teams, the teams that came into this race already ahead of the cut line, are going to be moving on to the next round, and they will begin their task at Boston International Speedway. Boston going to be the first race, Talladega, that wild card race, going to be the middle race, and our final elimination race to determine the final 4 will be the following week at North Carolina Speedway, also lovingly known as Rockingham. So, thank you all once again for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week at Boston International. The round of 6 begins here in the Duracell Cup Series, as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.